When I was a child, there was a song, and of course I don't endorse the type of satanic music we have today. I'm not saying I don't enjoy it. I'm not saying it's not nice. I'm not saying you shouldn't listen to it necessarily. But you've got the backmasking, you have the double meaning. It's a lot of sexuality. A lot of it's a lot of violence, sexuality. I listened to Rich Mullins, and there was a satanic message when that was turned backwards, which is what we have in media. When you complain about Fox News or MSNBC News or whatever, it's evil stuff because the world is evil. The division is between the world and the ecclesia. You have Moses, who was drawn out of the waters of the Nile. Israel that was drawn, because that's what Moses means, drawn out. Israel that was drawn out of Egypt to be their own country. And however you work with this stuff, Old Testament stuff, it is valid, it is important, it must be there. But the idea, the Jew and the non-Jew were separate entities. It was a separate life. They were not to intermarry. Now I may intermarry. The difference, the reason the Jews may not intermarry and the Christian may, was because it was a Jewish, and I don't mean ethnically, really, which is the impression people get. It was a Jewish people. They followed God, and crack my knuckles there, or my knuckle. And it was Jewish people. They followed God, and the people around them did not. People were basically pagans back then, and the Jews didn't follow that, so they were not allowed to intermarry. The idea, the seriousness of being a disciple of Jesus Christ. There's no need rather than looking and saying these people have this doctrine wrong, these people have that doctrine wrong, these people have the other doctrine wrong. You must take a believer in Jesus Christ, and I'm not saying people are, I'm just explaining it. A believer in Jesus Christ must take the attitude of the Jew, or at least the Jew was supposed to take back then. They're not part of us. But I went to a church where I saw some stuff from the emergent church, or the emerging church, whatever. The emergent church. And they showed that, and I didn't realize the church I was going to was associated with the emergent church. And I could kind of see it now. I went to it because an acquaintance or a friend was going there. He said, come on. I said, all right, sure. Why not? I haven't gone to church for a long time because I'm interested in the ecclesia. I'm not interested in church. The ecclesia of God are what interests me, or is what interests me. The people of God. So to me, it's not a matter, it's simply not a matter of saying, well, should we go to the Catholic Church or the Baptist Church? Which one is doctrinally right? They're doctrinally dead. Because as Paul said, you're talking about things that are spiritually discerned. teachings about things that are spiritually discerned. While I hate Bro Justin, he does have a lot of things right, but he mixes it with lies, and he knows they're lies. It was this idea of us make people happy. It was the idea, bring electric guitars in and drums in, and that's like talking about Calvinism or Arminianism. Without a reason to learn these doctrines, there's no point. But the whole thing was, let's get something that'll blow the youth away. Let's get the youth in here. That is an anti-Christian, anti-Christ attitude. The ecclesia of God, whether it turns your stomach or not. The ecclesia of God were for everybody that were a part of God's people, and none that weren't. It's not about the problem with only the Baptists and the Catholics and all these people. It's the problem, it is a problem with, well, for one thing, for the very beginning, the problem is people don't want to know answers. That God is available to people. To the Jews, he said, all day long I have held out my hands to a stubborn and stiff-necked people. Jesus came along later on, and he said, your father is the devil. And they said, well, no. You don't understand. I go to the Baptist church. Oh, no. You don't understand. I go to the one true Catholic church. The Catholic church. The one true church. It's not about, what I'm trying to say is several things, but in all this context, I'm trying to say, you don't need, when you got the real thing, you don't need this other stuff. Things are, in some ways, things are paring down to, some metal seats around a stage. And where we were, it was a gymnasium, I think, at one point. We were in a gymnasium. We may have met someplace else. And I was going basically, okay, let's just go back and see what this is like. This man wanted me to go there, so fine. There's a separation between the world and God's people. A separation between the ecclesia and God's people. And to me, whether all or none, or whether theoretically all, which is not reality, or theoretically none, which is not reality, or a part of it, it doesn't matter to me. That's my choice in life. I'm not trying to be a minority. I am a minority. Because through all these circumlocutions and alterations and molding our church the way we want our church, first of all, it's Christ's church, not yours, or Christ's ecclesia. It's Christ's gathering is a good way to translate it. The church, or the gathering of Christ, the gathering of God. Those called out to meet together as a family of God. That familial attitude is imperative. Without it, there is no people of God's love. A lot of people, I know, I've seen it again. I live in unfortunately, generally it's the way people are. I live around ignorant, stubborn, bigoted people in Indiana. It's just the way they are. I wish it were different. And they can complain about me being too open-minded, or complain about me be too open-minded, and all that, and too much of a stickler at the other end. I can tell you the truth. Of those who are on the internet that I know myself. I am of God's people, and I know it. Jesus said all the world would know you are my disciples if you love one another. Not mishmash in the immersion church, and not hate one another, nor berate. Alright, that'll do the end of this second video. It's a little short maybe for this, but God bless.